Hi everyone, I'm Phil, as you will know. Welcome to the first all-in podcast by Vextrix and Struktura. And today we're going to be talking about professionalism, joined by some guys from the office. If you'd all just like to introduce yourselves, please.
Yeah. Adam Blaisby, Associate Director.
Will Brand, Design Manager.
And Charlie Hibbert, Chartered QS.
And so we're going to talk about professionalism, and Charlie's come along to tell us a little bit about his journey through the RICS APC. Adam, professionalism, how do you think that's perceived today compared to like when you first started out in your career? What was it, 10 years ago? Was it?
It's been over 10 years ago. It's definitely, I think, how we interact with each other has changed and how we communicate with each other. I think sort of certainly the last 4 or 5 years, sort of post-COVID and sort of work from home and people coming to the office, just our appearance has changed. Sort of, and we were stepping away from the shirt and tie probably in the last sort of 10 years anyway, but certainly now it's a lot more casual. I think that interaction with the clients is changing as well. Certainly emails and sort of text messages to clients, I probably wouldn't have thought of doing that 10 years ago. It's definitely changed. Whether it's changed for the better, I think it's good.
And do you think that kind of method of messaging, WhatsApp, text message, is do you think that's professional? Do you think that it's okay to communicate in that manner? Or because like when I started out, like we didn't even send emails, you sent letters in the post. Like, you know, do you think having that kind of social media quick response is impacting people's professionalism?
I have to be led by the client. So if the client is communicating with you in that manner, then that's absolutely fine. And you're keeping it professional in the contents of what you're speaking about. Don't see any problem in that at all. But I think, like you say, social media's had such a big influence on sort of how we communicate and how professionalism's seen as well.
It's about reading the room, isn't it? Instead of being physically in a room with someone and reading the sort of conversation and how they're willing to communicate with you. You've got to sort of read it sort of across emails, across teams, you know, judging on a client-by-client basis, person-by-person basis. You start to understand, you know, what's appropriate, what's not appropriate. Yeah, it's kind of learning on the fly.
Yeah. And is there anything what would you bring back from 10 years ago into, like, we changed the way we work because of COVID and work from home and a bit more relaxed, and would you bring anything back from 10 years ago where you should go in the office in your suit and your tie? And what was the good practice back then that we're not doing now?
I feel there's probably more structure 10 years ago. I think that, you know, you come in at a certain time. I don't think flexible working was really much of a thing. Even coming in at a different time, it was you're in for 9 o'clock or whatever the time was. But I think now it is, you might work from home one day. I think that for me, I think that can sometimes be abused. I'm not saying in our company, but in other companies, I'm sure there are people that will take advantage of that. That's professional. So I think that, I think you're in an office, you turn up at the time and do your job. That's publicly.
I like that. So everyone got into the office every day.
Yeah. Well, on the flip side, we've got architects that have just gone down to a 4-day week, so they have the Friday off and they just make up the time, during the 4 days that they are in. They do extended hours.
They're more productive.
It is difficult when you want to get them on a Friday. You're expecting drawings or you want to communicate with them. It's difficult that they're out of office and then they're catching up Monday.
I don't think that works. If you need a response, and client, certainly with what we do, can be quite reactive.
But I'm sure a lot of the guys, like you said, it's not just architects, it's different practices to do it. People are available on that day they're off, aren't they?
Yeah.
Off. You know, if they're doing a 4-day week, there's something urgent. Most people, professional people, will pick up the phone and take a phone call. I guess they might not want to go and sit down and do some drawings and send out. They're not meant to be in work, but you've got to manage your deadlines and outputs. But here's a chance that if your client's working 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, they probably expect you to be in 5 days a week, Monday to Friday, and not have one of the days off.
Or at least deliver on the deadlines according to their schedule.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yeah, well, we talked before about what would be unreasonable if you asked for something for someone in an hour and they were off. Pretty unreasonable, isn't it? You'd say,
Oh, when the timing.
Yeah, texting someone at 9 o'clock at night.
These people who do condense their week into 4 days are doing 10, 12 hours Monday to Thursday, but they might be contacting you outside of what we call core working hours and expecting a response back at 7 o'clock at night, whereas that doesn't align with your working pattern, so it gets a bit confusing, really. Going off professionalism a little bit now, going on of working practices, but we spoke before about the timing of the messages, didn't we? Like I said, I know I'm a bit of a bugger for sending WhatsApps or a Teams or an email outside of those core working hours, but I'm quite happy to think someone might not respond because they're off with the family or off doing whatever they want. But would you say that's unprofessional of me? Would anyone say that's unprofessional to be sending that message at that time? Keep it within working hours, Phil. Like, just load a message up, ready to go at 9 o'clock in the morning or whatever. Or do you think it's acceptable to send something out of hours? As long as you don't have to respond, you don't expect a response.
Yeah, as long as the line's sort of drawn that there's no expectation. So if I received a text, there's no expectation to jump on it straight away if it was, say, 9 o'clock at night or something. I think that can be all right. But if you're working with a client for the first time, and not that you do it to a client per se, but you'd have to draw that line. I think that it's not an expectation that they do jump on it, and then I think doesn't look as unprofessional. I don't think.
What would you do in that situation then if a client message you at 9 o'clock at night?
Well, I've had it, yeah, and you just have to either politely refer them that you'll deal with it the next day, or just actually leave it until the next day.
I think that's absolutely fine to say, got your message, I'll get onto it first thing in the morning, or whatever. I think most reasonable people, and most people are reasonable, like they go, oh yeah, that's fine, it's 9 o'clock at night, like nothing's gonna happen now, like they accept it. I guess that touches on like the kind of emotional intelligence bit as well, doesn't it, in terms of knowing how to, like, emotional intelligence is a big part of being professional, how to treat people, how to read a room. And being professional is sometimes, a lot of it is saying no to things that make you that make you feel uncomfortable or inappropriate.
Yeah.
So, okay, cool. What do you think we could do as an organisation to kind of breed more professionalism into our culture? I mean, I think we are professional. I think we're relaxed. It's a nice place to work. But is there anything we could do within the business to kind of support people through a chartership or APC, encourage them to do it, or just improve our professionalism practices in the business? Anyone? One from each of us?
I think in terms of actual professional qualifications, I think we do more than most. I feel a lot of people offer, sort of to say the charter staff, offer their experience to the guys who are going through their APC. A lot of their time, at lunchtime or outside of the work, I think we do that. I think we do that really well. I don't actually we could do any more. Like I said, it goes back to it's being on the individual as well.
Yeah, I think there is a general awareness that we want everyone to be going in that direction to get chartership. It's good for the business, it's good for people's personal development. I think the thing we are doing well is, with the rocks and goals that we do, where we're breaking that down. I've sat down with my line manager and we've broken down, how do I get to chartership where it maybe feels a little bit far off? How do I do incremental steps in my rocks and goals to sort of get myself on the way to getting there?
Yeah, so if we all, I know we've all kind of bought into rocks, goals and stuff, and I think everyone in the business does, but if we maybe double down on that a bit more, that gives you consistency, clarity, understanding, knowledge of what you're doing. And I guess that's not just in a chartership thing. That could be in anything you're delivering or working on, really. What about yourself, Charlie?
Yeah, I think it's about aligning your personal goals, whether it's chartership or winning a certain amount of projects, getting a promotion, rising up in the company. You align those personal goals with the business goals, and I think the goals of Rocks are a great way of doing that. I think we do that really well.
So, impacts of professionalism. I think, Charlie, we're going to talk to you a little bit about this, given you're one of our newly chartered members of the team. So the first bit we're going to touch on is just a bit of reflection on your journey, really. So what were the key milestones and experiences you went through as you were doing your APC?
Okay, yeah, so I guess the first milestone would be my degree, my master's degree for quantity surveying. So that was a RIC certified course. So going for the APC was actively encouraged. So that was probably the first milestone. After that, I'd say my own ambition and drive. I wanted to build foundations, if you'll pardon the construction pun, by getting my degree and then getting chartered. And then I think the next milestone was probably the initial failure. I didn't pass the first time round. I got very specific and very quite brutal advice or quite feedback, but I used that as a guide of what I needed to do to pass next time, and also as a motivation to make sure I was ready for the next one.
Just want to ask you that, what motivated you to go again? No one's even past first time.
As I say, my own ambition, my own drive, I really wanted this. I feel like the RSCS, it's a gold standard of approval. I think I felt like I could use that to build assurance, trust and respect within Vextrix, with my company, but also with clients. I think it's a great recognition of your dedication and the experience you gained.
Did you find clients treat you differently after you got your chartership?
I have felt a difference. It's not been too long, it was only a couple of months ago, but I have felt a difference. I think maybe they're more relaxed. In Vextrix we talk about giving clients a quiet mind, as you know, and I think that definitely helps when you've got that backing. I think that stamp of approval.
Did you feel more confident after you'd got your chartership?
Yeah, me and Nada were talking about this before off camera. I think that I had more confidence, definitely. I always felt like I had it in me, but once you've actually done it, I think you can be a bit more relaxed. I think you still need to be on your toes. Obviously, you can still be negligent, or you could be unprofessional and get in trouble for that. So it's not that you just kind of relax and take the foot off the gas. But I do think I go into things now with a bit more confidence now, definitely.
Do you think you've become more professional since you became chartered? It's almost like you've got something to lose now, haven't you? But it's very easy for that to be taken away.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I think that I've worked so hard for this. The last thing you want to do is drop the ball, and that's, as you say, get that taken away from you. So I would definitely say it made me feel more professional.
Does being professional play directly into getting your APC? Was it more sort of like showing your experience and your level of knowledge?
I think it's both, to be honest. I think you obviously need to be professional because they want to see a safe pair of hands, and I think that goes beyond the general knowledge and the experience, because if you've got that experience and you have that knowledge in your head but you're not able to show it in a professional way, then you're never going to be able to pass, because they're not going to be able to see it. They're not going to trust that you're let's say, pair of hands, they're not going to want to put their name against it. So yeah, I think that professionalism is really important.
So we touched on like the motivation of doing it. I think you said like after the first failure that was motivational. What kind of motivated you to do it like the first time round? So if the guys are going to listen to this and we want people to push towards their APC or whatever the professional registration is, they go for it. What was it that made you, that's why I'm going to get chartered?
And there's a couple of things. I think, as I say, the master's degree helped me a lot because it kind of gives you that study mindset of you need to study morning, noon and night, and also balance that with your personal and professional life. So I think that kind of gives you a good foundation. Also, I think if you look at other people who have already been chartered, they're already a few years ahead of you. You look at those people as examples, and you think, okay, that's where I want to be. So yeah, I think there's definitely some good role models within Vextrix and within my friends and family circle as well, who have already got to that stage.
Yeah, it's quite a personal thing. How much time do you think you had to spend on like your CPD and stuff like that outside of working hours?
I mean, obviously, with the RSCS, you do have the diary, and there is a set amount of hours you need to complete in order to get there. But at a certain point, you kind of forget about that, and you're just using every moment you have. I got into a habit of every journey I was making, whether it's a podcast or just reading something on the train or recording something YouTube, APC Q&As, there's so much out there. I think every moment I had, there were a couple of periods for months I was studying morning, lunchtimes, night, 6 in the morning till 12 o'clock at night. I'm not saying that's how everyone would do it, but that's what
it became a hobby.
Absolutely, yeah. Yeah, I think with the CPD you have to keep it varied and you have to keep it interesting. There were actually parts of it that I found fun, found enjoyable. In all seriousness, the contract practice stuff, or let's say some podcasts and Q&As, maybe getting friends, family, or colleagues involved. APC mocks, the Q&As, they were so helpful, but they were good fun as well, because there were times where we would kind of, once we'd done the questions, we would debate a couple of hot topics in the industry or a couple of competencies, and yeah, it was actually quite enjoyable at times.
Is it like going off piste a little bit here? Not too much, but what do you do with that time now, or what forms your CPD now, and things you're still learning about and listening to or watching on YouTube or whatever?
I think it's definitely changed because it was a lot more structured at that time, because you knew that you had to hit certain competencies. I knew that I had a training plan. I knew I had to hit a certain amount of hours with each topic, whereas now it's kind of what interests me. So as I mentioned before, like I'm interested in contract law or dispute resolution. I'll try and put some time into that. Or areas that I still feel like I can improve in. There's always room for improvement. If I feel like I need to understand more about, let's say, sustainable construction, I'll put more time into that, whether it's the journals, the magazines. RSCS send you so much stuff via email. So yeah, there's a lot of resources out there. So I just kind of keep up to date with that as much as possible.
What was your main challenge when you were doing your APC?
We got a lot of challenges. I think, as I say, first of all, that time dedication and maintaining that motivation as well. As I mentioned, I had to study morning, noon, at night, and balance that with the personal and professional life. I think demonstrating the competencies is very difficult. I think getting the level 3 advising experience isn't easy, especially if you're quite new to the industry. Even hitting the level 1 and 2 competencies, and how does someone who's only been in the industry a few years get actual experience in dispute resolution? Say it's very tricky. So for me, I would say don't rush it. Get the experience, and if you're not getting the relevant experience you need, go and get it. Go and ask for it. Yeah, but also be prepared to study in power.
That's really important. That asking to get the experience in the conflict. Was that some of the feedback you got on your failure? Was about the lack of experience? you'd hand over, was it like some kind of smaller projects type kind of thing? What did they say to you? What was the feedback?
I think one of the main things that hit home was that they didn't feel like I was ready to advise at level 3 because I hadn't got enough level 1 and 2 experience. So I had to take a step back and just get more experience, more varied experience. So there were certain projects that I were working on, and there was probably a bit of repetitiveness there, or I think I just needed more variation in my experience, and luckily I was able to get that. I really worked hard in terms of getting experience. I was spending less time studying and more time just getting out there and just getting that relevant experience. Once I had that, then I went back into study mode and I kind of filled in the gaps and strengthened my general knowledge. But yeah, I think getting that experience was really important. I think another challenge was imposter syndrome. I think that can kick in at any time. Everyone can get affected by that. I think a big part of the APC submission and interview is selling yourself and highlighting your achievements, and I think that's something that a lot of people really struggle with. It's like writing your CV or a dissertation. So it's an important skill, and I really think the APC submission helped me become more comfortable with that.
Can I ask, because you did yours on Teams, didn't you?
Yes.
So the first time I did mine, it was at Bolton's Stadium. And then the driving there, and then you wait in a room with 20, 50 other people who are all nervous, all saying the same story, or they've done it before, and then you get called up, and everyone's on this big long corridor, everyone knocks on the door at the same time, and it's a horrible feeling. What was it like doing it on Teams? Did you find it, if you had to be in that situation, was it more relaxed for you, or?
It's interesting, isn't it? I think that when you're doing it on Teams, there's different pressures. Teams, you're worried about the internet cutting out, or they're not there to hear you, or someone walking in on you while you're in a meeting room. Whereas, looking back now, I think that actually sounds more daunting. I think the Teams call is probably a bit easier. There's obviously challenges to it, but I'm not via Teams. It was about 3 or 4 o'clock in the afternoon, so I had that whole day just to practice. Yeah, people say to you, don't. I think on the morning of, I think I went through things one more time, and then I was just like, whatever will be. I had a mock or a Q&A session booked in for that morning, but then the night before we just cancelled it and said don't rock the boat, just get and go. Yeah.
Did you wear a shirt and tie and like suit jacket?
I don't think I didn't wear a tie, but I did wear a shirt and jacket. Yeah, even if it was a bit too warm, I wanted to put the jacket on. Yeah, I think it's a mindset for me as well. It's not just what you're presenting to the panel. It's also within as well. Yeah.
Liverpool won the league the night before I sat there.
Did they?
Yeah, and it was John locked out. So, being professional, one of the questions I got asked was, can you give me an example of how you've acted ethically? And I said, it didn't go out last night. I was in bed when the fireworks were going off.
Were the Liverpool fans any of them?
The chairperson's a Liverpool fan, so
that's why you passed that.
That's what you say.
Yeah. Cynical, really.
Definitely.
Like advice you'd give to younger aspiring professionals in the business. So you've just been through the chartership before Christmas. What if there was someone thinking about doing it? What bit of advice would you give to them, like from your experience, which you've just been through?
Yeah.
What do you think you should focus on?
I suppose that the general advice I would give to anyone that's doing this process or a similar one would be number one, just getting the level 3 advising experience in any way that you can. Before that, the level 1 and 2 experience, which involves actually doing the things and understanding them. So getting that experience, but I would say from my experience, don't rush it. Go out and get that experience, whether it's working through projects or in your own time studying. If you feel like you're not getting the relevant experience, speak up, ask your colleagues, your manager, go and get the relevant experience you need, and also just be prepared to study in parallel. Keep it varied, keep it fun, but keep it structured so that you that you're getting the best out of it. Another thing I would say is that something I spoke to a lot of people about in the build up to taking the submission is that life will always be busy. So there's never going to be a perfect time to do it. My advice would be the same as I'd say to people who want to get on the property ladder, just do it now. There's never a bad time to do that. I think being honest with yourself, thinking about why you want to be chartered or similar, you think about who you're doing it for, not just for yourself, maybe for other people as well, your friends, family, colleagues as well. It's obviously a big thing for the company as well to have as many experiences, as many chartered people as possible. And yeah, I wanted to be the best that I could be and progress. And yeah, I think this is a great experience for anyone that's looking to do it.
So a lot of that sounds to me like it's owning the process and taking accountability. It's on you to get it done. Like, we can help, mentor, support, but unless, if someone's thinking about it, they've got to commit to do it and own the process, and then that will push them through. Because as much support as you give someone, if they don't own it, they're not going to get through, are they?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to own it. You have to take responsibility, as you say. It's all about your experience. Yes, you need to have general knowledge. Yes, you need to hit the competencies, but it's personal to you. Everything that you write about in your submission, everything you talk about in your interview, it's about you. So I think that's something that hopefully make you feel a bit more assured and more relaxed, because it is about you. But at the same time, yeah, you have to take responsibility. I think the best source of support for me and the best source of CPD was doing the APC mocks and the Q&A session. So that can be with your colleagues or with any friends and family you can rope into doing it. So that was the best source of getting that confidence and getting information. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be down to you. So I think, yeah,
it's a really good point that you're not relying on the company. It is solely down to your responsibility to book in with your supervisor or your counsellor, get it in, and be the responsibility.
How does it work in the design side? Well, because we spoke a lot about that RICS, LPC.
Yeah, so I'm actually looking at the moment about which chartership route I need to take. So I was going to say, in the same sort of vein, what would you say to people that potentially are hesitant to do it because they think they might fail the first time? Do you think there's a lot of pressure, or...?
I think that pressure mostly comes from within. I didn't feel too much pressure externally. I think it all comes down to you.
Yeah.
The funny thing is, when I went into the first time round, I genuinely thought that if I fail the first time round, I will use that as an experience. It's almost like when you take a driving test.
Yeah.
If you fail, at least you'll know what the experience is like. It won't be as scary the second time round.
Yeah.
Because it's not fear of the unknown anymore. So I would say, as long as you're checking in with your advisor or supervisor, as Adam mentions, and you've done everything you need to, I don't think you've got anything to be afraid of. Just go and do it. And then if it doesn't work out for you the first time round, at least you'll know what's missing, because they'll give you that feedback. You don't need to wonder if you're ready or not. You'll know.
Yeah, just being prepared as possible.
Yeah, but what is it? Fail to prepare.
Oh, yeah.
Prepare to fail. Yeah. I think you definitely need to be prepared. But yeah, I don't think it's anything to worry about. I think if you have prepared, just go and do it.
What chartership routes are you looking into then?
So I think it would be with the DMI, so Design Managers Institute. Yeah, I just need to look into the routes more thoroughly and see which way I want to go, get some advice off some people like Hanisha maybe in the business.
Yeah, okay. Interesting.
So do you feel like you've got the people within Vextrix, within the company?
Yeah, I feel like I've not got the years of experience yet. That's potentially where I'm a bit hesitant. But I suppose we've got the people in the business to help and guide. So,
is that on the design management side?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's Hanisha, Tom Holloway. They've got design management experience.
Yeah.
Is that who you'll be looking to?
Yeah, so I'd look to shadow. Yeah, Hanisha, Tom Holloway. Yeah.
Okay. Cool. So, Adam, given everything we've spoken about today, and kind of recapped on APC journeys and professionalism, past, present, and stuff like that. I think we've done a little bit into of our posts around what professionalism might mean to you. But I suppose if we've done it in mind, can you tell us now what professionalism means to you in your day-to-day life?
Yeah, I think as with the company, it's a core behaviour. It's just a fundamental behaviour, and it also stems into your personal life. It doesn't actually, it just goes professional. It's sort of the way that you act, and you're not, you're acting with that integrity and that being honest and you're trustworthy, and they all wrap up into one.
It's an important value for to have, and I think all of us around it, that's why we're in that group, aren't we? And Will, so we've got listeners out there. So how can our listeners foster professionalism into their lives? What would be?
Okay, well, hopefully they've taken something away from this podcast, even if it's a little snippet. But I think following some of the stuff that Charlie said that's helped him to get through his APC, I think if you can apply that to your own sort of way of working, planning, preparing, that'll definitely help. And then, again, I think some of the content we're going to put out as a professionalism team should hopefully help people to sort of foster it in their own lives.
And would you add anything else, Charlie, to what you said previously that people can do to foster professionalism into their lives?
I think just going back to all the things we've touched on, I think that professionalism can be quite difficult to define at times, but we all know it when we see it, and it's the same with being unprofessional. Even if you can't quite define it, when you see it, it's clear to everyone. So I think professionalism, it ties in nicely with a lot of different things, whether it's presentation or your communication, and it comes into personal as well as your work life as well.
Okay, guys, so thank you. That was a bit nerve-wracking. Let's see how it worked out. Thanks, Joe, for helping us out to go through it. And I know it's been a bit uncomfortable for each of us, but I think we've approached it in a very professional manner. So we're coming to the end of quarter one for Vextrix, Struktura. It's been busy, manic, but actually I think there's a lot of good things we've done over the last quarter. We'll be doing an update. Good Q1, even though it's only 2 months, because we've cut it shorter for the first period this year. So we're ending our Q1 rocks at the end of February. We've got 3 days to close out. I can't wait to see what comes out of the work all the teams have been doing. So look, thanks guys for taking part in this. Thanks to anyone who may listen to this. Hope everyone enjoys it. If people can, I think this will go out internally, won't it, Joe? So it'll go out internally, but if everyone in the business can keep an eye on LinkedIn, Instagram, intranet posts, to keep sharing kind of positive things to encourage us all to be a bit more motivated, that'd be great. And if anyone's got any feedback once they have listened to it, then share it to Joe. I'm going to say if they can pass it into Joe so we don't feel the criticism directly from people, that'd be brilliant.
Filter up all the comments.
Yeah. And so also, if anyone's got any ideas for other podcasts or bits of information we can share in this kind of forum, then drop a note to Joe, and Joe will collate them all and get things set up for us. So nice one. Cheers, guys.